And yes, as entrepreneurs, we mess up. Most of the problems in your company is probably caused by you. I know my company, most of my problems in my company were caused by me. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hi, welcome once again to the Greg McAfee Show. And I was doing consulting the other day on the phone, and I got to talking about the new year and what are you looking at as a business owner. And a lot of times we're looking at yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I had done a presentation at one of our boot camps a few years back on this complete subject matter. So I thought, you know what, this is going to be great for the first week of 2021. And by the way, some of you had great 2020s and some of you had terrible 2020s. But like I said, if you're still around, it was a great year. So we're glad you're still here in 2021, and we hope you make 2021 better than 2020. So let's talk about the time you're going to spend in 2021. We're going to talk for about 20 minutes on this subject matter because it's very important what you spend your time on. So they say that the majority of entrepreneurs spend about 10% of their time in the past. And that's probably 5% too much. And the reason I say that is because you should learn from the past. That's what the past is all about. You've got to be able to learn from the past. Know what you did and did wrong and should improve on. But you shouldn't spend a whole lot of time there. It's not going to make a hill of beans. How much time you spend thinking about the past, nothing's going to change, okay? What you need to be focusing on is how to change today in order to make tomorrow different. So 10% of the time, 10% of the time of an entrepreneur, which is you, the business owner, by the way, you spend your time on events and practices of reviewing the past. Okay, and they say that 85% of your time, on average, is spent on today. Now, the problem with that is if we spend 85% of our time on today, a lot of that 85% is dealing with problems, putting out fires, checking emails, right? Searching the web for stuff that doesn't really help the business. Let's just put it that way. So a lot of the 85% of the time we spend on today is wasted. And I was in a seminar one time, and they actually had us write down how much time we waste in a day. And then we got in groups of like 5, but the amount of time that the 5 business owners waste in a week was unreal. And it was an eye-opener. So, and then they say that less than 5% of our time is spent positioning our company for the future. Now, that's the sad part. That's the sad part of my entire presentation today so far. And we're spending less than 5% of our time positioning our company, planning for tomorrow. Now, years ago, when I would go to a planning meeting, or if one of my business coaches would talk about planning years ago, and I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, it was always 1 year, 5 year, 10 years. But that kind of changed. That changed along the way. I think just because of the microwave society, and we don't retain as much, or our attention span isn't as long, or however you want to put that. But we need to plan today. We need to plan. If I were to ask you, if it's today is January 5th, if I were to ask you, where's your company going to be March 5th? Where's your company going to be August 5th, November 5th? Within the first year of right now, where do you want your company to be? How much time do you spend planning this year? We start planning, like putting things in writing somewhere the first week of November for next year, and that includes our marketing plan, that includes our advertising plan, that includes a lot of planning that we're thinking about for the next year. And so I've tried to spend a lot more time thinking about tomorrow than I do thinking about today and yesterday. So time spent in your business is very important. Now, yesterday basically should remind us of why we got in business. Why did you get in business? What is your main goal? Why did you buy a business? Why did you start a business? Why did you take a business over from Dad or Uncle Tom or whoever? And then yesterday, you should highlight the successes that you build upon. And I'm not talking about keeping those 10-year trophy and plaques on the wall. I'm talking about what successes that you had yesterday that you can build upon to get you where you want to go tomorrow. Think about that. And then yesterday also tells you what you need to eliminate. It tells me what do I need to eliminate. We've done some things in the past that we're not going to do anymore, and we're going to eliminate those. And that's what yesterday tells me. Yesterday is a learning experience. It's definitely a do-over, because every day is a do-over. Every day that God gives you the opportunity to wake up another day, it's a do-over day. And that's how you need to look at it. And I tell the story about the little boy that, little 3 or 4 year old with a little plastic bat, and his dad would throw him a ball, and he missed and he missed and he missed. And he said, "Daddy, can we do over?" So, we all need do-overs. We all need to be able to do over and improve or fix the things that we messed up. And yes, as entrepreneurs, we mess up. Most of the problems in your company is probably caused by you. I know my company, most of my problems in my company were caused by me. All right. Yesterday also increases your experience. That's a really good one, you guys, because the more experience you have, the more wisdom you have. And when we talk about hanging around people smarter than you, when we talk about surround yourself with smarter people, when we talk about find some good mentors, we're talking about people with wisdom. We're talking about people that have experience that they're willing to share with you. So we definitely have to build our own experiences. I know that this is we're going on 31 years now. 2021 will be our 31st year in business. Started with $274 in a used truck, worked our way to number 1, top of mind in our territory. But I know I have much more wisdom today, and I react much better because I'm very impatient. I want things done a certain way. I'm very meticulous. And I don't do excuses, and I don't give excuses, and I don't accept excuses. There's been a handful of people. I almost said a lot. There's been a handful of people that have quit because of me. And I can go back and I can tell you each one of them and probably give you their name of something I said wrong, did wrong, reacted wrong, who knows. So I get better and better at that every year because of my experiences. So that's what the past is for. That's what yesterday is for. Now let's talk about today. Today, we can focus on and resolve the urgent needs, the immediate issues of today. That's what today's for. And we can be responsive to current customer demands. That's what today's for. Man, but we can stop right there, guys. We can stop right there because a big challenge in our industry is being quick to respond to a customer for their demands. We're slow, way too slow. We've got to get better at that. I've coached hundreds of companies, and I don't have a percentage, but if I were to say 75% are extremely slow responding to customers' needs, and they wonder why they lose customers. So we've got to get better at responding to current customer demands. That's what today's for. Don't put that off till tomorrow. That's what today's for. It's easier to define how resources will be invested today because we know what's going on today. Yesterday's gone. We can't change anything from that. And we don't know. There's only one person that holds the future in my world, and that's God. And so I don't hold the future, and I don't know what's going to happen, although I can plan for it. I can plan the best I can for tomorrow. Meaning on a personal level, how do you plan for the future? Well, you try to save for retirement. You either got an IRA or a 401k or something to that nature, and you're planning for the future. You don't know what the future holds, but you hope you're going to be better off by planning. That's why we plan. So easier to define how resources will be invested today, and the short-term outcomes are much easier to define today, and we can predict more from today. So that's what we use today for. Now, we don't need to spend 85% of our time on today by any means, because we need to spend, in a perfect world, it should probably be less than 5% from yesterday, and probably 60% today, and more like 35% of our time should be spent on planning and thinking about tomorrow. And I'm not just talking about tomorrow, folks. I'm talking about 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and yes, even 10. I mean, where do you want to be in 10 years? So now let's talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow is exciting. Let's face it. Tomorrow holds, we don't know what it holds, right? I mean, anything can happen, good or bad. But tomorrow's exciting. Tomorrow's only going to be as exciting as you make it. And you create your future. You don't just experience it. You get to create your future. And what are you doing in your business, in your life, to create a better future? I can stop right there and let you guys think about it until next week, because that alone is very valuable for your business and for your life. You can also, for tomorrow, you can also anticipate key factors that will impact you. In other words, what are some of the key factors of tomorrow that are going to impact? Now, in the heating and air world, it's all about weather. And if you work in, if you have a business rather, and hopefully you work in it, but if you have a business in areas like Ohio, where the weather changes on a daily basis, and it's not 90 to 100 degrees every day, but then again, it can't be 60 or 50 every day either. You can anticipate key factors that will impact you, and one of them is the weather. So you better believe that we at McAfee plan for extreme cold weather, extreme hot weather, and lukewarm. And Jesus didn't like lukewarm, and a heating and air conditioning company does not like lukewarm. Nothing happens when it's lukewarm. Nothing happens when it's 60 to 65 degrees. The phones are not going to ring as much. There's no desperate need. There's no emergencies or anything like that. So we have to plan for those. And it could go something like this. We have to get extremely proactive making phone calls to what we call our comfort family members, which is our maintenance agreements. We have to get extremely aggressive and call them and get those lined up for those times that we know in Ohio we're going to have those slow months, not just slow days. I've got mentors, board members, and good friends who own businesses in Florida and Texas and Las Vegas. If you're in Ohio, you don't have the luxury of having extreme hot weather. And I don't have anyone who has a business in Alaska, but I'm sure it has its benefits as cold as it is, or as cold as it can get there. But you can also gain control by planning for tomorrow. You can gain control in any business climate. So, the business climate, right now, we're dealing with in America, we're dealing with what's going on in Georgia right now. By the time you listen to this podcast, we'll already know which direction Georgia went. And we may know who is going to be our president by the time you listen to this, because right now, nobody truly knows. So we also, by planning for tomorrow, we can also minimize surprises. And I think I've spoke about this before, but I don't like surprises. A lot of surprises can be avoided if people just keep us informed and if we just keep others informed. There's a lot of surprises that can be avoided. But I want to minimize surprises. So I want to plan for tomorrow. What if? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if so-and-so quits? What if this happens? What if they leave? Are you prepared for that? I'll never forget, a good friend of mine, he was only in his early 40s and unfortunately passed away. He owned a heating and air conditioning company. We were good friends. We were competitors, but we were very good competitors, and we appreciated and respected each other. And I tell the story, but we had just had lunch at a ACCA meeting in Columbus, Ohio, and I had lunch with him, sat with him, talked, went to a few classes with him. We sat together, and the next day when he got home, he had a massive heart attack and died. But I'll never forget, he was a type of competitor and friend who we could call each other. This was early in our businesses, so we had been in business somewhere between 10 and 15 years. And folks, if you're in Ohio weather, that you go through some slow periods where, your phone may not ring much in a whole day, in a whole week, and no matter how good you are. But anyway, Ed could call me and I could call Ed and say, "You guys busy? Anything happening over there?" And for the most part, we were both in the same boat. We would both say, no, you're the first call I've had in a while. But anyway, just good friends. And we would, it would help minimize surprises by us talking to each other and talk. We didn't share numbers or anything like that, but we shared a lot of challenges. I remember him calling me and he was devastated, and he said, my service technician who I trained from scratch, was with me for 8 years, just quit, left his truck here, took his tools, and left. And it was actually a very busy day, and I offered him one of our technicians to help run calls for him. But that was a surprise. And I've had several of those in my time. And, if your business is always a perfect place until the first person walks through the door, and that's basically you. But as long as you have people in a business, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have rewards, and people can do great things for you, but you're also going to be let down, and people are going to do things that you had no idea they would do. Also, thinking about tomorrow allows change to happen. You need to change your focus. I'm hoping from some of these podcasts that you hear me speak, and if you don't know, I'm passionate about this, and I'm passionate about what I teach, because I believe in it, and I love it, and I love helping a business owner get to the next level. And I love helping a business owner stop thinking wrong and start thinking right, and clean up their act and make their business, grow. So, but thinking about tomorrow will help realize that change is required. You're not going to get to the next level without changing something today. You've got to be able to change today in order to get to that next level tomorrow. And so we got to change our focus. Our focus has got to be, we got to have a strong focus. We got to have a serious focus. We may have to change some customers. It's okay to fire a customer sometimes. We may have to increase our customer base. We may have to add on some customers that are maybe in different demographics or different location that pay better. And we might have to change our resources. We might have to hire a business coach. We might have to form a board of advisors. We may have to hire a manager and pay them more than we make. And if you can't do that, you need a business coach. No, seriously, you've got to be willing, in order to get to that next level. Sometimes you got to pay people more than what you make, and you can't be afraid of that. Because they're going to help you. A qualified individual, a qualified technician, a qualified salesperson, a qualified manager will help you get to that next level. Now, the definition of change is to make something different, better than it would have been if you'd have left it alone. So, to make something different, better than what it would have been if you left it alone. And your business is all about change. If you read my book, Build and Grow Your HVAC Business, you will see how many times we had to evolve in this almost 30 years of business. We've had to change. We have to change things. We have to change things up. I have to change how I think. I have to change how I act. I have to change how many hats I wear. I have to change people sometimes, whatever it takes. So what we've talked about today was yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I just want you to think about how much time you're spending there. I want you to think about the quality of time you're spending there. And I want you to think I want you to give 35% of your time to thinking about tomorrow, and 60% of your time today, and less than 5 about yesterday. So anyway, I want you to think about it, and I want you to apply those ideas, and it'll change your life, it'll change your business, and you'll be able to get to that next level. Have a great day. Carry on.